Hello everyone, my name is VESELY and I come from Slovakia, Bratislava. Thank you very much for kind invitation to your meeting, and I'm very sorry not to be able in person at this meeting. Today I would like to speak about lenticle extraction and some updates on this technology. Corneal lenticle extraction is a femtosecond laser-only refractive surgery that has become increasingly popular for the correction of myopia and myopic astigmatism. It is a flap-free procedure, minimally invasive, and it's a very safe alternative to flap-based refractive surgeries. It is a very sexy laser, as you can see, and very wise laser. But let me start with from a different view or different perspective. These are my two daughters, Mila, the younger one, on your left side, and Zoya, the older one, on the right side. Now they are 5 and 4, and yet they already do know what is the difference between the sharp tip and a blunt tip of a pencil. They use the sharp tip of a pencil when they want to do something very precisely, but the blunt tip they use when they want to color in a surface, a big plot. And actually this is a principle that is very useful also for understanding the femtosecond laser principles. The ELITA femtosecond laser has the smallest spot of a size of 1 micron in between all other femtosecond lasers. But not only this, the laser pulse is the shortest. It is equal to almost 150 femtosecond, and this gives a very rapid speed or very high speed to the whole treatment. Why is the smallest spot or small spot so important? And this is what it looks like. There are small spots in between or small holes in the paper that actually helped us to tear them apart accurately without any side tears. And can you imagine these small holes or small dots being set apart in a bigger distance? Yes, we can imagine, but then the tearing would not be that easy and that smooth. Here we have a small table comparing all the lasers, allowing the femtosecond laser lenticle extraction. What you can see is the pulse energy in the lowest line, where the pulse energy of ELITA laser is the lowest from all other lasers. I love to use this example. I hope many of you know ice hockey. Ice hockey is played on ice. At the very end of every period, the ice rink is all scratched from the skates. It only becomes smooth after the so-called Zamboni runs over the surface and pours warm water on the scratched eye. Only then the surface is smooth, and actually this is what we also require from the lenticle interface. We want it to be as smooth as possible. And this is achieved with the very precise spotting, placing the spots next to each other. But also not for this. This is also achieved thanks to an interface scan that is done prior every surgery. So we have a patient interface that is being measured by the laser, so that the laser spots are being placed into equal depth through the whole cornea. This is something about the laser technology, but let's speak also about the treatment itself. The treatment itself is very easy. First, what we need to do, we need to, let's say, calibrate the patient interface to measure the glass thickness. That allows us to put the laser spots into precise depth. This is base for the so-called silk. The lenticle features are named down right as you can see it here, but let's speak about them more closely. The lenticle is being created in a radial scan pattern. That means, firstly, the radial pattern is working on the posterior surface and then only on the anterior. On the anterior surface. The lenticle itself has a different shape than the others. Finally, the lenticle is a lenticle. That means it has a biconvex shape. There is a symmetrical anterior and posterior surface, and these are matching. Thanks to this, you get to see less corneal folds in Bowman's membrane after the treatment, but also we achieve more residual anterior stroma in the corneal periphery after the treatment. Next excellent feature of the lenticle is the so-called transition zone. Transition zone ensures that optical zone is not compromised by the lenticle edge. A transition zone is placed between the optical zone and the edge incision, right here. Very important feature of the lenticle extraction is its safetiness. That's why we have a edge thickness is very important. The higher edge thickness enables removal of a lenticle without tear at the edge. As the edge has to have a certain thickness that makes it safer and easier for the surgeon to extract the lenticle. Finally, when the lenticle is created or has been created, we need to get it out somehow. The extraction is really easy, but you need to have a space where to manipulate with your tool. And this is very easy thanks to the entry to edge distance, right here, which allows to place the entry cut further away from the optical zone and to allow the lenticle separation tool to go over the lenticle edge for easier edge separation. I have already mentioned the patient interface. This feature has nothing to do with the patient interface docking adjustment. The patient interface is docked onto the patient's eye. Sometimes the position of the lenticle or of the flap. This can be easily done. Also, cyclotorsion has to be compensated, and that through 12 diopters and up to -6 cylinders. Overall, already you can see here location of the lenticle, also thickness of the lenticle, residual bed thickness, and the anterior depth. After this, you can easily jump to the treatment itself. The treatment itself is very easy. After the patient interface is scanned, you can dock the patient as seen on the video. I'm not using the speculum to keep the eye open because it's more comfortable for me and I believe also for the patient. After this, you simply dock the patient interface onto the cornea. After docking, you can see that the zone is very big, and I can move within this white circle where I can place the lenticle. After this, I start the treatment. Here you can see the radial pattern flying up and down, left or right. Then that was the posterior surface, and then anterior surface. The whole procedure takes only 16 to 18 seconds, and it's very fast and very relatively pleasant for the patient. After the lenticle had been created, we have to extract it. The extraction takes something to up to 20 seconds. These are one of my first cases. and the time is a little bit longer. This is a 35-second extraction. You could have seen how easy the separation was. After separated the anterior face, I go to the posterior one, and then I only grab the lenticle and pull it out. After every lenticle extraction, I do check if it's whole or if there are any tears. We have evaluated up to 80 eyes. The first 80 eyes we have performed the silk surgery on. The removal easiness was scaled into five points. Either it was super easy, demanding, difficult, or complicated. 81% out of these 80 eyes was the extraction was or removal was super easy, 16% easy, and 3% were demanding. I have to admit that these were the first cases with the laser. This is the lenticle removal easiness, but what actually is very important, not for the patient only, but also for us, is the visual acuity. The visual acuity is as follows. The visual acuity better than 1.0 at day 1 was at 61 eyes. At day 7 it was 77 eyes, and at day 28 78 eyes. If we look at the uncorrected distance visual acuity chart more closely, you can see how is it growing. Yes, it's 97.5 of the 80 eyes that has reached visual acuity 1.0 or better. You may ask, why is it only 78? Well, the answer is relatively easy. We had 2 eyes that suffered dry eye epithelopathy, as the patient was a, let's say, workaholic working on his computer from 14 to 16 hours a day. With the proper treatment, his visual acuity resolved to 1.0 after 2 weeks. Also, none of these postoperative complications has ever appeared, except the dry eye symptoms that I've already mentioned. All in all, I can say that all patients so far are highly satisfied with the silk treatment, and 100% of them would recommend the silk treatment to their friends, relatives, or anyone else. Thank you very much for your kind attention on the topic of silk.